No, motherfucker. He will not be trained.
No.
So Mace Windu is making his return to Star Wars, and ever since Ahsoka told Grogu to call out to another Jedi, people have been speculating on this return. A lot of people have been coming up with theories and trying to figure out if this could actually happen. Star Wars Theory actually made a video on this and it went kind of viral. And then by pure coincidence, leaks come out of the Lucasfilm camp that Mace Windu will be in fact returning and will be the one to save Grogu. But could this actually happen? Let's get into it. So let's start off by making sure that this makes sense story-wise. Obviously in Revenge of the Sith, we thought we saw the death of Mace Windu, but in reality we never actually saw him die. We only get to see him flung out of a window, but for many years Windu was presumed to be dead. It is very possible that Mace could return. I mean, we have seen characters live after suffering much worse injuries. Maul literally gets chopped in half by Obi-Wan and he somehow survives to hijack every animated TV show. And you could make the argument that Maul only survived because he was very strong in the dark side of the Force and because of his pure hatred for Obi-Wan. And this is true, but Mace also was able to use the dark side and he used it quite often. He also hated Anakin ever since he was brought to the temple, and Anakin was the reason for his death. So if Maul could survive off of his hatred for Obi-Wan, then Mace could definitely survive off the dark side, and if he needed to, off of his hatred for Anakin. But I don't even think that's necessary. We have seen Jedi fall and jump from great heights before and land perfectly fine. Now Mace was electrocuted prior to his fall, but I still think he could cushion the fall enough with the Force to survive. He might have even fallen on a Coruscant flying car as soon as he was out of frame, and maybe he even told that car to drop him off at the temple. Now if Mace did survive, it makes complete sense that he would be the one to save Grogu. Maybe Mace only survived for a couple of days, just long enough to rescue some younglings from the temple, or maybe just one youngling. Maybe Mace died shortly after and that's why Grogu was lost. For me, this would be the coolest explanation for the rescue of Grogu, and by far the one that makes the most sense. But the biggest question in all of this is, will Sam Jackson even want to return as Mace Windu? The answer is yes. He actually has been begging to return as Mace ever since before Disney bought Star Wars. He hasn't been as public about it recently, maybe because his wish was finally granted. But before Disney bought Star Wars, there was a bunch of clips of him asking George Lucas to return. He even once publicly asked George Lucas if he was still alive, and George said yes. And if that isn't confirmation, I don't know what is. Also, at this point in time, if Mace comes back into the Mandalorian timeline, Mace would be around 60 years old. But he would look a lot older than 60 because of the injuries he suffered from the fall, plus the extremely powerful force lightning of Sidious. Sam Jackson in real life is 72 years old, perfect age to play an old Mace Windu, especially a Mace Windu that got hit with a crazy amount of force lightning. The stars are really aligning for this all to happen. Another thing that's being rumored is that Mace Windu will return in the animated show Bad Batch. Now this I also like a lot. It's a perfect way to tell the story of Grogu's rescue and set Mace up for a return in the Mandalorian or even somewhere else in the Filoniverse. It would be really hard to show us the story of Mace Windu rescuing Grogu in live action because of the age of Samuel Jackson. We would either have to recast or use some crazy CGI on his face, but animation has no limits, and bringing Grogu into the Bad Batch is a perfect way to build up hype for a very quiet show. Not many people are too excited for Bad Batch, especially not outside of the diehard fans. There's no better way to generate excitement for a show than bringing Grogu in. Now there have also been some rumblings about a Mace Windu solo show. Will this be animated or live action? I have no idea. It is said to be a young Mace Windu show with the role being recast and Sam Jackson narrating it. To me this sounds extremely strange, but hey, if they want to get Mace back again, I'm all for it. Now did Disney decide to do this before they saw the fan theories, or did they take inspiration from these theories? That's a tough question, but I think I do know the answer. I think Disney probably had this in their back pocket for a while, but just didn't know how the fans would react if they actually did it. But now that they see that most fans would love for this to happen, they're finally putting it in motion. I'm super excited for this, not only to see Mace Windu again, but also to have Sam Jackson back in Star Wars. I hope the years in between episode 3 and now have changed his character and he acts a little bit more like Sam Jackson does in real life. I think we're going to see an entirely new Mace Windu when he returns, and I'm super excited for it. What are your thoughts on Mace Windu returning to Star Wars? I like it a lot, but I'm very curious to see what you have to say. If you did like this video, consider checking out some of my other content and subscribing to the channel, and also leave a like on the video. But other than that, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.